we're just going to jump into our topics. Our first topic is having to do with it's I think it's dropped now, but it's called Jupiter's Legacy. It is a new TV series that has come out on Netflix. It is based off a comic book by Mark Miller, and is, I think, written with Stephen S. Knight or DeKnight. Mark Miller, for those of you who don't know, he wrote a lot of really big comics. Like he wrote Civil War, the Marvel comic book. He wrote Old Man Logan, and there was one other. Superman Red Sun. So those were his babies that eventually got like turned into movies. And Stephen S. Knight, DeKnight, or I can't remember, I can never remember his name. He has written a lot of stuff, a lot of TV episodes. Like I know he wrote a bunch of episodes of Buffy. I know he wrote a bunch of episodes of Angel. I think he was also a co-executive producer, and he definitely did Smallville and Daredevil and Spartacus as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever watch Spartacus?
I watched like the show. You mean?
Yeah,
I watched like an episode or something, and I feel like it was like it felt like it was changing dramatically between episodes or something, and I was like, "Nah, I'm out." like you guys can't keep your show consistent. Like I got no interest in you. I'm sorry.
Tactics?
Nah.
Actually, Darcy, I think the reason for that was that the main actor actually developed cancer and passed away, so they had to recast him and do a whole bunch of shit after the first season.
Yeah, I think so. But I feel like it also felt like the show just thematically, like between scenes or something, was like so weird for me that I was like, I couldn't tell what I was watching, and it just disinterested me so fast that I was like, I'm out.
I hear that. Anyway, so Jupiter's Legacy has been adapted from the comic book to Netflix as a TV series. I haven't watched it yet. I just saw the trailer. How about you guys? Like, where are you guys at in terms of watching it?
Seen the trailer.
Tax?
Same. Saw the trailer.
Okay. So I would like to do a portion where we give what we did with Invincible. We've all seen the trailer. None of us have watched the show. Let's give our pre-thoughts on it. So Darcy, you want to start us off?
Sounds good. I'm like 50-50 on interest, as in like there's some of the concepts of like passing on a legacy to the kids, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm thinking like Superman and Lois, not that it's the same, but like I'm intrigued now more by a story that's going to bring that human element and the family element into the superhero dynamic because of Superman and Lois. So that part intrigues me. The costumes look, like they're legit to something I don't know. I don't know the source material, but they look like a lot has been put in to make them look like comic book accurate stuff, or just comic book fun, if it was like an original writing. And there was a couple moments in the trailer that I was like, yo, some of this action doesn't look bad, but some of it felt like CW. So I wasn't sure how I felt, like it was like the show kind of felt like CW with a better budget, and then I see a clip and I'm like, that feels like a movie, and that feels like The Flash, and I'm like, I'm 50-50 on my interest level on the show as a whole. Like I feel like I'm gonna either one of the two things is gonna happen. Someone's gonna be like, yo, that show is awesome, you gotta check it out, and I'm like, all right, cool, let me go check it out. Or I'm just gonna wait till I'm like, oh man, I got nothing to watch right now, I'll just put that on.
It could be one of your coding shows.
Yeah, it's like that's what I mean, like or my eating shows, which is like I love to like either I'm eating with people or I'm watching something while I eat, and I like to grab shows that like there's several episodes and I don't really have to pay that much attention, and then I'll kind of like just put it on the background, so I'm not sitting there staring at a wall. So yeah.
Tactics, how about you, Matt? What are your thoughts or pre-thoughts?
I don't care. I don't
really
care. I really don't. Yeah, I like, to be honest, until today I actually thought it was a movie, and I was a little bit more interested when I thought that I would only have to sit for like 2 hours of this thing. But then when I realized it was a series, I was like, all right, I'm kind of checked out. So I'm kind of like on the fence about it right now in terms of like my interest level. It's very, very low at the moment, and I'm kind of on the same bandwagon as Darcy, in the sense that I'm probably going to just wait until one of you guys watch it and then says, oh yeah, it's actually pretty dope, and then check it out. But in for me to initiate it on my own leisure. I'm kind of like, and Umar, we were talking about this when you came over the other day, where I'm kind of at the level, and I'm surprised to even say this and a little ashamed, but I'm getting a little bit of superhero fatigue, and Invincible actually like pulled me out of that. Right. But other than that, like there's just so much of it now. And it's like any superhero movies or shows that come out, they have to be, for me anyway, they have to be known properties, or like properties where like a person says, yo, like this is dope, you need to check it out. And like Invincible did that, right? But honestly, after Endgame, I was just kind of like, I even said this. I was like, yo, if they never do another superhero movie again, I'm okay for a while. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of, although don't get me wrong, I'm still excited for a lot of the stuff that's coming out. Like I'm very interested in the Batman movie, and all the other stuff that are set to be released in the next couple of years. But yeah, in terms of this show, I don't know, man. It hasn't gripped me yet, so I'm waiting to hear further reviews.
There's one thing I want to say though, is like not about this movie directly, but your superhero fatigue. We're at a point. I realized this the other day. So, did you guys see whether you've seen this or just at least seen the trailer, Thunder Force that Netflix put out, the superhero comedy? It's
that shit was trash. I saw the movie.
It was so bad. Let me just get the actor so I don't mess this up here.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy, right?
With Olivia
Octavia Davis.
Yeah,
Octavia
Davis. Yeah, so I'm gonna trash for a second, but when Melissa McCarthy does a comedy on something that's very like canned Hollywood crap, and it's not like a surprising out of the park thing, you know that this genre is overly matured. Like we are really in the mature stage now, because now they're doing like stupid low budget comedies about superhero stuff, because now it's like, oh, we might as well bank on that. You know, the romantic comedy's not working so well right now. So I feel you on the superhero fatigue, that like it better be good and it better introduce something new, right? Superman and Lois is getting us excited because it's introducing a different element that wasn't quite expected and worked. Invincible is just top notch on every level, and is showing us something about the superhero spectrum that we've never seen, right? You know, or at least I've never seen. Oh, I can see Umar's eyes. But like in terms of like the consequence and the reality, and like really grounding something that's fantastical and like the real consequences of it, right? So like I'm watching, like, you know, Marvel's great because we have a lot in Marvel, but I feel like, I don't know if it was a Jupiter's Legacy trailer or something else I saw, where it was just like, oh no, I started watching the Justice Society World War II movie.
Oh, the animated film.
Yeah, and like don't get me wrong, Wonder Woman is actually badass. Like I've only seen like a few minutes, and like Wonder Woman came in, and I was like, okay, you really they took inspiration from the Gal Gadot first movie, where like just the fighting style and like how badass it is. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But there's the non-consequence in the animation that I'm like, the fights felt as badass as Invincible, and then it was like fake again, and I'm like,
yeah.
I need something different. Like repeating the old is getting kind of boring, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's my feeling.
For me, I would have to say that like Jupiter's Legacy, I'm in the same boat as you guys. I have absolutely no interest in watching it. Like frankly, I think I'm gonna hold out unless someone says, dude, you gotta watch it, or if I'm like really, really fucking bored one day. And I'm just like, might as well see what's going on with the first episode. But like nothing about it is screaming to me. The costumes, I feel it's better than what we've seen when they do like for example, Titan. Tactix and I were talking about this recently. Like Hawk and Dove, those were comic book authentic costumes, and they do not work in the real world. So like this feels like almost at that level, but like not as bad. But nothing about the trailer seemed of interest to me, and also nothing of the trailer felt like it was drawing me in. And frankly, the only reason I remember it is because it flashed on my YouTube. I'm like, oh shit, we should probably talk about that. But like honestly, unless someone or something is like, dude, you need to watch this, I'm probably gonna take a pass on that. So wow, we are all passing on Jupiter's Legacy.
Sounds like we're relying on Darcy to be the deciding factor of whether we watch this or not. He's the most likely to watch this.
Yeah,
I'm the most likely to watch this like 4 weeks from now, when or in 25 minutes when I'm eating and I got nothing to watch, and I'm like, ah, frig. It's literally going to be out of pure reluctance that I watch this, right?
I can see you watching it literally just before COVID ends, and like when we start talking about it, it's like, dude, guys, like we got to talk about COVID. Forget about Jupiter's Legacy.
Yo, honestly, I honestly feel like this one of two things is gonna happen. I'm gonna watch it at reluctancy. I'm gonna either 5 minutes in, I'm gonna turn it off and go back to YouTube and watch like somebody play a video game, or I'm gonna go, or it's gonna be amazing, and you guys are gonna hear about it. That's what's gonna happen.
To actually go back to what you guys were talking about superhero fatigue, I would say that I can understand it, but we're living in aside from the pandemic, we are living through a golden age of superhero comic book movies. Like I was telling this to Tactix earlier. When we were growing up, and when X-Men, like the first X-Men came out, in hindsight, that movie wasn't a great film, but like we were we were desperate for water. And like we were in a desert, and like we found a really shitty oasis, and we're like, you know what? This is water, and this is the best water I've ever tasted. Now we've gotten to a city, then we took a plane to like another world. We're in a metropolitan, and we got like pop and like sparkling water and shit like that. Like we have all kinds of water to drink. We don't need to remember about the oasis because all that shit is in the past. We have so much to choose from. We don't have to drink it all. And I kind of like, this is what, like, it's essentially turned into comic books in that respect. Like, I go to the comic book store, I pick and choose what I'm going to read. I'm not grabbing everything.
Yeah. I bet you we're also going to see like more of these like Melissa McCarthy. I'm horrible with names. McCarthy kind of like cheap budget comedies, and I bet you we're going to start seeing or we already have, and I just don't pay attention to them. Like children, you know, those like children's 3D animated films, that like the ones that are like purely trash. Like there's Pixar, and then there's like all this other stuff we like that are clearly made for kids like 6 and under to go to the theaters. I bet we're gonna get like some ridiculous amount of superhero stuff that's like completely original, but this garbage that's gonna start coming out, because we're in that area where it's like, yeah, I'm not ever gonna see that.
Technically, I can't remember. Was it you or Darcy who was talking about CW?
In what regard?
Oh no, it was Darcy, because he was talking about like half CW, half of interest.
Oh,
yeah, like I would say that we've at present we have lucked out with Lois, Superman and Lois. Like that's like the 100 level in terms of like quality CW. But yeah, like this could, like, even the 100 kind of fell off after a while and went very CW. So I'm really hoping that like the TV shows for superhero stuff stays consistently well, and that like DC/Warner Brothers get their act together and like do some really good fucking movies on that front.
You know what I feel like CW does? They'll like come with a new idea. They'll be adventurous around it. They'll invest. They'll do some on-site stuff. They'll do whatever. Oh, this works. Okay, now let's turn to a formula. And then you just get the same stuff over and over again. It's like the same set, the same whatever. It's like once they've taken the adventure and they've hooked people on something, they just stop trying. It's like, oh, make it cost efficient, you know? And you're like, but now it sucks because it's like the same thing 6 seasons, and I've not changed like anything. We're at the same location all the time with the same characters, dealing with the same problems.